Hello, everybody. Continuing on from our last video, we did our persistent variables, we did our project setup, we did all that good stuff. I've changed the project name because I've got another project on my Windows 11 machine that I'm recording and doing everything on. So that way we're going to be passing data back and forth. So I just wanted to be a little bit more organized for you. And we have our one simple little rung of logic here. We got our option, that's our persistent variable. We have our start, and we have our motor running, or we can turn this on later. I'll do some really nice I/O mapping and items like that in the videos, a few more videos later on. And our sealing circuit to get this to stay running until we turn our option off. Uh, right now, especially if you're doing everything on the desk and or if you have a client or somewhere in your workplace where you don't have the availability or you don't want to put any hard physical buttons in. What we can do is you could use a traditional HMI, but CODESYS actually has a very nice visualization, quote unquote HMI, already built into it, and especially running on uh, IPCs or Windows ones, and specifically, they have what's called a target visu, and so it automatically displays when the PLC starts running. Um, your HMI screen, and you can program it to as a touch or with a keyboard, and so you completely don't even have to put a traditional HMI into your project. You don't have to really load anything up. So we're going to go over that right now. Once again, this is our standard project that we've been working on together in the past 3 or 4 videos, and we're going to go here to application. We're going to select that. We're going to right click. We're going to go to add to object, and we're going to come down here and we're going to put visualization manager. If you put just visualization, it will automatically load the visualization manager and what you need to do. But me being a little OCD, I'm just going to do the manager first so that way we can go over a couple of those things. This here's Visu symbols. I always click this. This is just like a different library, a little bit more nicer graphics, arrows, busy signals, things like that you might want to use. So I would just go ahead and say, go ahead and add that. So as it's loading in here, see it's building our relationship table. It's going to add in all of our libraries. And now we have our visualization manager here. And you can see here, since it knows we're on a Windows, we have a target visu and we also have a web server. So you can even view it remotely if your facility is set up like that. And here's just our basic settings. If you want to be able to do a multi-touch, you would just select this here. Uh, After your PLC starts and everything, you can put a program or function call in here and then start some task or any other features that you'd like to put in there. I'm just going to go ahead and do the basic style code assist here, and that's pretty much it. Uh, it's just to me, this just looks a little bit better, and we can select our languages, or it's going to default to whatever it is that yours is, and then we can come over here and say, oh, okay. Then we have our dialog settings, which is our numpad and keypad. So this is the default how somebody would enter. So like your numpad on your keyboard or virtual, and then you can tell it to be always be centered or put it somewhere else on the screen. And then for user management, and I was going to go over that a little bit later. We'll add that in and how to create empty or based off of somebody else's. And then we have some other settings in here for size of the memory, like how much do you want it to be able to use, how big your paint buffer is, if it needs to render out. If you have a background image we want to use, we will also be going over that as well. But I want to stay kind of organized over here on the project tree. So right now I'm just going to close this, and I know we are going to need a alarm manager also. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a folder here, and I'm just going to just call this HMI. And then I'm going to take my visualization manager and I'm just going to drag it up and then put it into my HMI folder. And then it kind of moves everything around in there, and it does this while it's thinking and doing everything. And then as soon as it's done, we have this here. Our target view, we can come in here and we can do a fixed. We don't have any visualizations yet, so we can't really start it. And then we have our update rate in milliseconds. CODESYS says that the target view and HMI is a real-time task, so you can change this to, 25, 50, but you need to remember the more graphics and the more stuff you have on the screen, and your paint buffer needs to be a certain size. Your PC, IPC, whatever it is you happen to be using, can handle that type of processing. That's something that you're going to have to take a look at. But I'm just going to leave it as the default right now, and then if you know the fixed and you want to use fixed, I know a lot of people do this, or we can just use scaling, use automatic detection size. And then the web server also has a setup for that as well. And you could do this, and we want to handle touch as mouse events. I'll get into why we want to do that later. And then we're on a touch screen, or you could change it to the keyboard. Uh, then you can build a login visualization. Uh, so it would always just show a login screen if you didn't want somebody just coming up on in your factory or at your place of work. You didn't want somebody just walking up to a HMI and turning something off, right? Uh, so that's pretty much it on the setup for that. And we're going to change this to touchscreen, target visual on touchscreen. I'm just going to go ahead and save our project. And then I'm going to add our alarm configuration, because we're making an HMI, right? We're going to need some alarms. And so it automatically populates this error, info, warning, and alarm storage. And you can come over here to alarm storage and you can say no limits, maximum number, uh, whatever it is you want to do. If you want to do a maximum number, so however many entries you get inside there and what you're archiving and logging, and it will, once it reaches that, it will start automatically overwriting them. And here's if we have an error. Uh, this is where we would say we want to archive that information, and then these are how you want your alarm manager to react. But we'll go over this in a little bit more depth later. I just kind of want to set it up real quick. And then we're going to click on alarm configuration again, just to highlight the text here. And then we're going to add an object, and we're going to do an alarm group. So a class would be like this gray one that's up there. So we have error, info, warning. But now we're going to add an alarm group. And I'm just going to keep it the same. And it also added our text list in here for us as well. So our alarm group would be like if we wanted a status bar or something like that, we could come in here, and this is where we'll set up all of our alarms. But once again, I'll go over all of that information in another video that really runs through that and touch on it here and there as we're going along. So our visualization is almost set up and we're almost ready to start. And let me go ahead and just kind of clean this up. So then we can come back here to HMI, and I'm going to right click and I want to add an object, and then I'm going to do a visualization this time. So visualization is just the name of the first one, or we can call it, this will be our main screen, so we can just say main or name it anything you want. And in this grid section, you can do this or snap to. In the first couple videos, I kind of go over that, where if you need to go to tools, you'll go to options, and then you'll come down here to visualization, and you can see where your defaults will be. Oh, you want to do fixed or this, use scaling options. Your grid you want to do that. No assistance or snap lines. If you've got file options or global settings, if you want to change those around, all of that is in the tools and then options, and then scroll down to visualizations. So we are pretty much ready to set up. So what we can do now is on the right hand side in our toolbox, as you can see down here, we have our visualization toolbox, and here uh, we have some basic symbols and shapes, rectangles, rounded lines. We can do frames, import images in, common controls, labels, text fields, radio buttons, regular buttons. Then we have our alarm manager for our alarm banners and alarm tables. And so let's go ahead and set up our first screen. We're going to need an alarm banner, so we can just drag that over here. And now we've got that all set up. And what we can do is, like, we'll make this a little bit bigger so that way it's kind of easy to see. And you can see how I'm going to stretch this out so that way the message fits a little bit longer. And then I'm going to just move this up here. And we can extend this out just in case our message gets a little longer. Oh, oh my goodness, my mouse. I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. And then we can extend this out just in case we want to make the font really, really big. And our timestamp, we can kind of move this a little bit. There we go. So now we have our alarm banner. Get this back up in the center. And now we have our advanced tab. I always kind of recommend this, but our alarm configuration, it's going to do all. And our data source for this alarm is in our local application. It's not a remote target visu or anything like that. So it knows that it's pointing to our alarm configuration over here. And there's all types of other options, or if you wanted to create a new column and call it something else and get different status, you can do that as well. And then you have acknowledge all, and then you want to do an automatic switch, previous alarm. If you want it to scroll and not just state one, have one thing. So this is really fun to kind of play around with, and however it is you want to go about doing that. But we got our alarm banner here. And the background, like I said, if we do an image or something like that, we have to put an image pool, but I'll go over that a little bit later. You can do a background, so if we want to use a color, which the white's kind of bright, so let's try to get some contrast, or just to maybe do like a dark gray. There we go. All right. Now do a common controls, and we got some buttons here. So we're going to take and drag over a button. This is, kind of default. And it's got some other color options that you can do if it's on, off, gradient, and text variables. I'm going to go over a lot of this in depth, how to do some really neat things with all of this. This is a new option, is the blinking and blinking interval. So CODESYS has put this in here so you don't have to write the code to get a bit to do it and then do a state variable where it's flashing, and then it was kind of hard to catch. So this is a really nice new feature of version 20 and up. And then we have our input configuration, and this is why I said that if you handle touch as mouse events, so you can get a toggle. So if it's 0, it'll be 1, 1, it'll turn back to 0, and it kind of stay there. Tap is like your momentary, so 0 to 1. As soon as you let go, that's that. If you're doing text, like a text field enter, you would probably, I'm a big fan of on mouse up. So I would go here and say I want to write a variable, and then I would pick one. But right now we're just gonna make a start button here, and so on our text is start button, and then our variable is going to be, let's do a tap so we can use our persistent variable. So that was our global variable of start that we had. So we're going to put that there, and that's it. And it's that easy to make a button. And we're just going to go ahead and save that. And then we can come over here and we have lamp switches and bitmaps. So let's throw in a lamp in here so we can get some status off of the motor running bit. And our variable that we're going to be grabbing is the motor running. So that way we know our logic worked. And then down here for background, which is really the color of the lamp. So if you can want it yellow, green, blue, gray, uh, if it's an output, I guess we can stick with yellow. And that's it. And then we can go ahead and do another lamp. So that way we can see that our option is on. So this would be like an auto running type situation. And so this would be as our option 1. And let's do green for that. And then we can come over here. We can throw a label in here if we want. And, you know, then let's change the font color. That way we can see that a little bit better. And it's pretty easy to just kind of cut and copy these like I just did there. You can also put the text inside here, but I'm just going to go ahead and just put it on the outside. And that's our first HMI. And we can come here, and then our target visu, we have a start visualization. So if we tried to compile it, it would tell us we have an error right now because we didn't do that. So let's go ahead and see if we can generate an error or some warnings where to probably tell us, you have a visualization in here, but we don't know which one you're going to start. And so we got some messages here over our tooltips. It says no start visualization is configured. So an arbitrary one would be displayed. So probably just be a blank screen. So we can come here and there it is. That's our only visualization we got. And then our web visu, again, do a main also. All right. So now we've got that done. So recompile. Also, if you don't have a CODESYS runtime license, it doesn't matter which one the CODESYS. If you went and used the first video that we had, that CODESYS will run the runtime and these target visus. They will run for 2 hours without a license. After that, you would need to come down here. Like I don't have mine on right now. You would just need to right click and say stop PLC, and then you could start PLC, and then your 2 hours would start completely back over. Like I believe, yeah, on my remote desktop one, I might need to reset it before we do that, but we'll take a look and see if it's still available. So let's go ahead, and we've got no errors, no nothing, except for some little basic HMI. And there we go. It's still running, so we haven't ran after our 2 hours yet. So I'm going to click OK. We're going to have to, we're going to have to put our password in that we made in the beginning video. We're online, we're connected. We're going to go ahead and do a download. It says there's already application running and it's different than this one. Yes, we know because we've been making some changes. And so we're downloading and it's going to run. All right. And then I press play to get it to start. And I'm going to pause and switch screens so that you can see how it came up. 1 second, please. Alrighty, folks, and here is, and you can see where it says demo mode that's running there right now. This is the original old Windows 10 PC that I had that we set up from the first video. Uh, we don't have anything programmed in our status bar here, and it kind of just scaled to the monitor size over here. That's where it said you can do something fixed or change the buttons or anything like that. And so now what I'm going to do is uh, I'm going to show you the other screen, and then we can pop back. And so let me swap screens real fast. Okay, so now we're back over here and we're online with our PLC. And gonna go ahead and run through a little quick trick with you here real fast. So we can see here that our logic is not running yet and our option is not on. But I'm gonna go ahead and click the start button on the other screen, and we can see how it is coming on and it's wanting to start, but we can't. And now I'm just going to go ahead and force this option on. So, and you can double click that and then hit control, hold control and hit F7. And now our other screen has our option light on. Let's see if I can switch this around real quick. There we go. So now we can see that our option is on, and we're going to hit the start button now. And then boom. Now we have our seal-in circuit and our motor is running and our start button worked, and it's going to continue to run and run and run and run and run. And if we want to stop this at this point, this obviously it's a simple little line of logic. We can come back over here just for quick purposes, and then we can turn this to false, and our screen went back, and now our motor's not running and our option is no longer on. So that's the basic buttons and working with the persistent variables and getting a rung of logic to work. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. I know this one's a little bit longer, but the visualizations is a lot, and it's a really powerful tool that CODESYS offers that comes free on all the runtimes. Eliminates a lot of hassles of having buttons or having to buy a traditional HMI when you can just put everything, right here in your project. There's even other licenses for actual traditional HMIs where you can put them in there and use the same CODESYS visualization, graphics, and everything else. And it just comes with the regular license price. It's very cost effective and it's a great and powerful tool. There's a lot of people out there to make a lot prettier HMIs than I do. I'm not very good at it. Uh, that's a whole different breed of engineer. So if you like the video, please give us a like, subscribe. I'm going to continue to try to make some more modern, helpful versions. I know some of the other CODESYS videos are a little older, and try to get some real world stuff in here too. So once again, thanks again, and peace, love, and happiness. Everybody have a good day.